Designing the perfect e-learning program, online course, or virtual training curriculum can be very difficult if you make it difficult. A lot of people ask us, well, what should my e-learning program even focus on? What are the e-learning or learning objectives of my program? What should they be? Well, today in this video, we are going to tell you exactly how to write a learning objective and to make sure that your learners are so excited about what your learning objectives are, they'll buy your course or opt into your internal training just because they know what the learning objectives are. Okay, first part of this is we have to come up with a different word other than learning objective. Learning objective is a very old school word. So let's start by renaming this to milestones. This is what you're really developing, are milestones for your learners to achieve as they fulfill the value of your course, the value proposition. But before we get too carried away with point number 3 here, let's go through the 3 things you need to do when writing your learning objectives, or as we like to call them, milestones. Number 1, the most important part about this is the POV, or point of view. When you are writing a milestone or learning objective, you need to write it from the point of view of your learners. This is why we like to look at this as milestones instead of learning objectives. Because what happens is when people are building an e-learning curriculum or just a curriculum in general, they're thinking about what are my objectives as a teacher for my students, my learners to achieve. That's the wrong point of view. That is the point of view, the POV of the teacher, of the subject matter expert. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is look at the point of view of the learner. And when you're looking at this from the point of view of the learner, it's more of like, as I move through this course, what are the milestones that I achieve? That's why we prefer milestones. By retooling your thought process here and thinking, what are the milestones that my learners are going to go through while taking my course or e-learning program, you are already going to make sure that you are tackling the point of view or POV of your learners. So that's the first part here. The second step is action or action-based. Action-based learning objectives, or like we said, milestones. Yet again, this is why we prefer milestone to learning objective, is because a milestone is something that you achieve. When you, as a learner, are moving through this process, this A to Z process, that we'll talk about more on number 3 here, you want to achieve something along the way. That's what a milestone is. A milestone is action-based. So, for example, I just got into ultra running, marathon running, running in general in the past 12 to 24 months. Well, I wasn't a runner before. I have biked a lot throughout my life, played soccer growing up, played ultimate frisbee in college. I love athletics. But my goal was, you know what? I want to run a marathon. So I'm not 19. My co-founder, Hector Samudis, ran a marathon when he was 19 on very little training, did very good. He couldn't walk for a week after, but he was 19, right? So he could do that. I'm in my 30s. So I needed a step-by-step process with milestones along the way, action-based objectives that I was achieving along the way to get to running a marathon. And really how I looked at it is, when I first started, the long run that I did every week was like 4 to 6 miles. So this was really the first milestone, was to run 4 to 6 miles every Sunday, with shorter runs in between. But every Sunday, the milestone was run 4 to 6 miles. Well, 5, 6 weeks in, the milestone became run 10 to 12 miles. And then it became run 14 to 18 miles. And finally, the training capped off at running 20 miles. And what this was doing was, if this was milestone 1, 2, 3, 4, then milestone 5 was completing the marathon. And now I'm into ultra running, and ultra running, it goes beyond 26.2 miles. So I went beyond this milestone 5, which I'm not sure if I have room here. So I apologize if you can't see marathon right here. But beyond milestone 5 is training runs that are marathons in length. I couldn't just go from not running at all to doing a marathon every week for training. Not something that's going to happen. So action-based milestones. If you're out there and you are a running coach, we just built your curriculum for you. The last part of this is value proposition. Now, some of you probably have a very good idea of what your value proposition is for your learners, the value that your learners are getting out of your program. Others, maybe you haven't put too much thought into it. Well, the basics of value proposition, which we have another name for it as well, is you want to come up with what's the point A. This is where your learners start. Okay. Point A for me was running less than 4 to 6 miles per week. So I was here. This was my point A. Was less than 0 miles, or less than 1 mile, whatever. You get it, less than 0. I was doing negative miles. That's what happens, I guess, when you start running. You feel like you're doing less than 0 miles. So that's the point A. The point Z is, what do they achieve at the end of your e-learning program? Achievement or result. So your value proposition is, hey, you went from running no miles a week to in 18 weeks, you ran a marathon. That's the value proposition of a program teaching someone how to run a marathon. Point A, point Z. The milestones, as we see here, are the actionable steps from the point of view of the learner between the point A and we'll call this the point Z. Pretty cool. Pretty simple when you put it in these terms. That's why we don't like learning objective. It's just it's a selfish thing, because when you're a teacher, it's like, this is my learning objective for my students. It's like, no, these are the milestones that your students need to achieve in order to go from point A to point Z. Pretty cool. So we call the value proposition the learner transformation statement. Or for short, LTS. Same thing as a value proposition, but we like this wording better as well because it's very self-explanatory. This is the statement of value that your learners get by taking your e-learning program. At the end of your e-learning program, they have been transformed. So the learners are transformed. That's why we call it the learner transformation statement. When you are starting to market your e-learning program, which we have a lot more video content on our YouTube channel all about distribution. And if you want to learn more about how to define your learners, how to start defining milestones and how to successfully distribute your course to your learners, we also have a free masterclass linked in the description below. So go check out our free masterclass and subscribe to our channel, the eLearning Simplified channel. This channel is all about simplifying online learning for you and most importantly for your learners. I've been Jonny Havey, one of the co-founders of eLearning Partners, and I will see you in another video. There are so many online courses out there, so many e-learning programs, and so many virtual trainings, it seems these days. And if you're here, you are interested in creating one of these, but you probably don't know where to start, and most importantly, you don't know who to build your program for.